Hello, hello, hello. I don't know why I sound like I can't sing whenever I decide to sing words. I can sing sometimes, but whenever I say things like hello, I sound horrible. Just absolute trash. Anyways, welcome back to Love That. I'm your host, Danielle Janae. If we've never met, I'm Danielle. You're you, and I'm so glad we're here together. I am doing a solo episode today. Super pumped. We're going to talk a little bit about social media, creating and consuming, and boundaries, and just all together how I'm feeling about social media and some of my current observations of the space. But before we get into that, I just wanted to tell you guys I'm having a great day. Honestly, I really am. It's beautiful and sunny outside. I went and worked today at a coffee shop with a friend, which is always good with remote work life. A lot of times when I'm working remote, I am inside all day with Con and we love being together, but it's super fun to get out and get in a change of scenery and work with a friend. So that was super fun. I had a meeting with a casting director today, which was really cool. Can't wait to share some more info about that when the time comes. But yeah, just overall a good day. I'm proud of myself for the things that I'm doing. So go me. Yay for me. Before we get into the meat of this episode, I wanted to talk about my what I'm loving for this week. My what I'm loving this week is home. It's California. We had an incredible trip to Washington recently that was so much fun. It was so good to see our friends. I mentioned it a little bit last week. It was great. But it also really super confirmed for Connor and I that we're exactly where we need to be living in California. And then we got to have a friend come out and see us. He was here for his son's basketball game and we got to show him around where we live and take him all of our favorite places. And there's nothing better than getting to watch somebody be in awe of California. It really helps you to just recognize how blessed you are to live here. I really had moments where I was like, wow, it is so special that I'm getting to show my friend who is on vacation what I do with my regular everyday life and the fact that it is still magical vacation every day living here. We're just so blessed to live in a place that people vacation, and I don't say that in a cocky I live where you vacation way. I just mean it we really are so blessed to live in a place that does and can feel like vacation every day with the weather and just everything that there is to do around here. So yeah, that was so fun, and my what I'm loving is that I'm loving living in California, and I'm so happy to be here, and I love Southern Orange County. It's truly amazing. So that is what I'm loving this week. Tell me what you guys are loving. DM me if you're listening to this right now and be unless you're driving, and be this is what I'm loving, Danielle. Tell me. I want to know. All right, let's get into the episode. I want to talk about social media because it has been hot on my mind lately. I've just been thinking about the way that I've been utilizing social media, doom scrolling, and how much time I've been spending on social media. I just I can always feel when social media is becoming unhealthy for me. And I also very strongly am adamantly against deleting social media from my own personal life. I think that if you want to delete social media, you totally can. But for me, and I'll get into why, I am pretty against it. I have deleted some social media apps recently. I deleted TikTok because it's TikToxic. I just came up with that, guys. It's TikToxic. But it's just was not good for me. And then I deleted Twitter because seriously, what a freaking echo chamber of opinions and Twitter was doing nothing positive for my life. Nobody on there that I know in real life really follows me or I follow anymore. And so I just got rid of it. It just didn't need to be there. But I still have Instagram. I still have Facebook. Reason being, I'm in a bunch of Facebook groups. I love Facebook groups. I wish that they would just separate the dang groups app from Facebook, because I hate Facebook as a whole, but I do love Facebook groups. So anyways, I still have Facebook and I still have Instagram, but that's all of the social media that I'm on now. The reason being is that I was finding myself with some extra anxiety. I was carrying some extra anxiousness, and the world lately has been in a questionable state, and I needed to be ignorant for a while. Let me explain that, because I know that that is kind of a weird thing to say when there's a lot going on. But for me, I just needed to step away from all of the constant information. I'm still informed on the things I need to know about, but I couldn't constantly be consuming it. And I was finding myself absolutely doom scrolling. I was just taking in so much information that was not positive for me. It was not benefiting me. It wasn't informing me to a point that I was able to make beneficial changes in my life or anything like that. And so I just decided, you know what? I'm going to back off a little bit from social media, but not altogether. That's because I love Instagram. You guys, I love Instagram. It honestly makes me feel alive. I have never been the kind of person who has had a toxic relationship with Instagram. Instagram has always been a very positive place for me. There are a few reasons for that. One of them being that I have very, very carefully curated the space that I am entering into when I log on to Instagram. Now, Instagram has made that kind of hard, which is super annoying, with all of the suggested content, where I don't have as much control anymore of the space that I'm creating on Instagram. But because of the things that I interact with and the things that I follow, I still am not getting too much negativity or anything that's causing me to go into a comparison spiral or anything like that on my feed, because I've been so intentional about the way that I engage in that space and the way that I choose who I'm going to follow. And Instagram does an okay job of only suggesting things that you would want to see. Kind of. I say that very lightly because sometimes it's not so great. But anyways, I love Instagram, and I truly feel like I come alive on that app. I feel like I'm most myself sometimes when I'm talking to my Instagram followers and creating silly content and reels and stuff like that. And it's such an outlet for me creativity wise. And I think that Instagram and social media in general gets such a bad rap, you guys, for the toxic things, but also think about how much creativity has come out of social media that was never there before. How many people picked up a camera because Instagram was a thing in middle school and they wanted to go do a photo shoot with their friends, and now they're full-time photographers for their job. It's just so freaking cool to me that social media has inspired almost a generation of creators. Now, I understand that we see a lot of carbon copy creativity happening, but if somebody is inspired to create because of social media, we have to give that its moment and recognize that that is a very cool and very beneficial thing. And that has happened for me. My journey with social media, in high school, I literally treated my Instagram like it was a blog. Before 1,000 followers was nothing. I had 1,000 followers when that was kind of a big deal. 10K was the 100K, and those were the days. But anyways, I was creating content, mostly Christian content, when I was in high school. And it was such an outlet for me to process and write and use my somewhat gifting at photography to create an online space for myself, and people enjoyed it. And that was really inspiring and motivating to me, and really helped me to find creativity in myself that I didn't always know was there. And social media has continued to be that for me. Now, I don't write as much on social media anymore, and I'm a little bit more private with my personal experiences and stuff like that than I have been in the past, but it still is like a super motivational space for me to be in, and it really motivates me to create. And that's why I am like adamant about not deleting Instagram. I just like love to create. But I think that I find myself sometimes walking this line of, am I consuming more than I'm creating? And that is where I have been the past like 3-ish months, especially because we don't have a lot of friends right now. And we will make friends, and we're super excited to make friends someday. And if you want to be our friend, just let us know. But anyways, I've been spending a lot more time on social media scrolling and consuming. And that is when I find social media to be unhealthy for myself. And when I start going, oh my gosh, I never want to look at my phone again. Oh my gosh, I feel actually like the worst person on earth because I'm just consuming. And that's when it becomes unhealthy for me. And so I've kind of had this heart check of like, how much am I consuming on this app when I could be creating? Because I've been finding myself giving so much time away to other people just by engaging with their content or scrolling, or very honestly passively scrolling and not even engaging, when I could be creating and doing what makes me come alive. That's kind of what brought me back to the podcast. Is I was like, I am spending all this time scrolling and consuming other people's content when I know that like sitting behind the mic and creating this podcast makes me come alive. Why am I giving that time away when I could be creating myself? And so that's like the shift that I've been going through, and just something that I've been thinking about. And it's been kind of rolling into other aspects of my life where I'm thinking, where else in my life am I consuming more than I'm creating? Or am I consuming more than I'm connecting? Am I giving things my time when that time could be filled with connection or creativity or something that makes my heart come alive? Now, I don't think consuming is a bad thing. I think that there are creators on the internet who are making really amazing, inspiring content. Some of them who have been on this podcast, some of them who I shout out on my Instagram all the time. Like, I am motivated daily by things that I see on social media, but I am working on recognizing the shift for myself of like, when does it go from being inspired and consuming for inspiration to consuming to disconnect, or consuming to turn off, or consuming to numb out, or consuming for the sake of consuming. Those are the things I'm working on. So anyways, those are just my 2 cents on social media, kind of how I've been feeling about it. I'd really just encourage anyone who's on social media to like think through how they're consuming social media, because for me, it wasn't necessarily like, oh, I need to get rid of social media altogether, because I don't ultimately think that social media is a negative place. I think that it can be a very positive place, and that it's up to us to control how we're actually consuming it, how we're interacting and engaging with it. And so that's my 2 cents on social media. Hopefully this was enjoyable for you. Maybe you feel a little bit encouraged or inspired. I used to feel bad about the fact that I loved Instagram so much, and that I would be like, no, I actually don't have a problem with Instagram. But now I just think that it's like a really good thing. You don't have to delete all your social media in order to have a healthy relationship with social media. You create the space that you consume in and that you engage in, and create more than you consume and you'll be fine. Those are my 2 cents on social media. Thanks guys for listening. I would love to hear what else you guys want to hear solo episodes. We are going to be on a solo guest rhythm, and so there will be more of these smaller, shorter chats on random things that I think are relevant or interesting or that I care about. Let me know what you guys thought of this episode in my Instagram DMs, and please leave a rate, leave a review. Best way to support the podcast. I know some of you guys did do that after the relaunch, and I really do appreciate that. So thank you so much for doing that. If you want to follow me on Instagram, you can follow at Danielle Janae with 2 A's at the end, DANIELLEJANAAE, and that will also be in the description. Let me know what you guys want to hear next, and I can't wait to talk to you guys again on Wednesday. Love you.